All right. Good afternoon. It's May 31st, 2022. I had to take off a few days, just a super emotional day or week last week. Wednesday, I had something else going on, but Thursday and Friday, just uh, personal stuff. Just couldn't bring myself to make a video. So I'm back. Um, Still recovering from last week, but yeah, I'm back, and I'm glad to be doing this. It does feel good, so let's get right into it. Just a range day, very choppy, very choppy. You can see it not consistent with these lows and highs. This is how I viewed it. This was overnight high, maybe a little higher than that, and I measured this as the low. It's close to the opening price. Um, you can see prices bouncing near there a couple times. They're really just bouncing off the opening price and that midline. So and if you were right here, right at 5 o'clock, you get a failed second entry long. Really good signal bar, confirms that trend channel. There's room to the bottom of this channel, so even if you had it drawn, I think I'd probably have it drawn something like, even like this, there's room to the lows. So I like that. Then we get really like a double, triple test right here, and you might consider that one, but the bias was down, so I wasn't feeling that, and I think there's like 3 ticks, maybe 4 ticks back to the EMA. Let's take a look. Let's call it 2750. Oh, no, there's room. There's room, so I'm going to mark this aggressive. Come up here, you get a first, second entry short, and then a lower high. And I was really, I had my order ready, but I didn't take it because it looked sideways. And it does look sideways. There's nothing wrong with thinking that. Look, it is sideways, but once it drops, it really drops. So I was reading it right. It was off this channel that confirmed the channel to the high side. This was I was actually quite proud of myself for having this channel drawn correctly, because it's kind of just, you have to confirm it from the lows. But yeah, it's a lower high, room back to the EMA. I was expecting a new low after this channel, so we didn't get a new low here, and that's what happened. So I was reading it correctly. Here we have this channel of correction, and that actually is the first break of this channel. You get a first entry, failed second entry long. I think you take that, especially after we slightly broke it, came back in, tested the channel high, and then tested it again. I think that's a good entry. Then we bounce and make this new low. So we made 2 legs down to a new low, and really just reversed after that and just kind of chopped up. So we get this spike in channel here, and it is valid, but it really just, I mean, it's just not a strong trend. You see, we hit the highs only once. So here you get, it looks like a second entry short. It's at this price level. I like that. It's a double test. We make this price level, test it once, test it twice. So much room back to the EMA. I really like this trade. I marked it aggressive, but I like that. And then we come back, first entry, second entry, again, room to the EMA. This time it doesn't even hit the EMA, but it's right at that price level. I like that for a scalp. And then it just gets congestive. You get this double test right here. It's actually a second entry short as well. You can see that quick double test. First entry, second entry, but this just looks, you know it's an uptrend at this point. Really, it there too, so not a good idea. We see this spike and channel down. That's the failure right there, but that's too far away from the EMA. I don't think you can take that. And we find support along this price level and break lower. You can see this is Oh, well, if you looked at it like this, you might. This is a second entry short, so you might take that as a failed break higher. I actually like that. I didn't see that before. Then we break lower. That fails. First entry, failed second entry, too far from the EMA. Rockets up, far from the EMA. Looks like we get a break, move to a new high. First entry, failed second entry, but it's on the wrong side of the EMA, which is unfortunate, but first entry, failed second entry. This just looks like a repeat of this, kind of, so just like below the EMA, then the setup occurs kind of far, but it's off the trend channel, so you might take that if you see all that. Overshoot of this channel leads to a break, move to a new high, first entry, second entry short doesn't set up. Come down here. You might take this. It confirms this spike in channel with a lot of room. It's technically a second entry long. There's a lot of room back to the EMA. It looks like this might be a range and we broke lower. So yeah, there's reasons to take that. That's an aggressive trade. You might take this on a double test, but yeah, I mean, you could argue for that, but it's just a bunch of aggressive trades. That's all I saw. First entry, failed second entry. Really, the failure happened right here. That's a trap, though. They trapped a bunch of people jumping in too early, and don't take a failure that far from the EMA. That'll save you a lot of money. And this is where the real failure happened, or where they pushed it higher, I should say. Form this range up here. Looks like this is a failure. First entry, failed second entry. So you would have to go one tick below this, but put your signal bar up here. You might not be crazy about that, but it's just so low risk that you might consider it. And I mean, this looks like a measured move, so yeah, it bounces at the measured move, so I'm not too crazy about that. Rocket on down, too far from the EMA. First entry, second entry doesn't set up. Then to the long side, you get a first entry fail. Ooh. Yeah, this is pretty. This one's tempting right here. This one's pretty tempting. I don't know. That's off the EMA. I'm gonna mark that blue. This you could look at as a double bottom or like a triple bottom, and you get a first entry, failed second entry, even though this is technically the failure. This also looks like a hidden second entry. It confirms this trend channel, so there's reasons to like this one. Here, this kind of looks like a double bottom, first entry, second entry. I like this. It's also a failure, failed second entry, and that's off that trend channel. So that's a good entry. So I forgot there actually are some good entries in here. This is a failure. I'm just not crazy about it because it's not off a trend channel, and we just have no idea where prices are going. They're just shopping around. Second entry, lower high right here. It's also a failed second entry long. I think this is pretty solid, and that brings us into the close. So that's how I saw it today. I got smoked today, so I hope you guys did well. I'll be back tomorrow.